Welcome back to Games Revealed. I'm James Littles Brink, and we are one community. Today, I want to talk about something super exciting. So exciting that you might hear my dog barking in the background because he is super excited. Loki is ready to start modifying his Steam Deck. And yes, I have 3 modifications you're going to be able to do to your deck this year on this list. I'm going to talk about just essentially what they are, the benefits, the maybe cons, maybe who should or shouldn't do this. No, obviously, these are all optional, but that has not stopped us from modifying things in the past. We love to customize and make things better. So with this list, you're going to be doing exactly that. Make sure to watch the whole thing because I also have a little surprise at the end. And also make sure to like, subscribe, bash that bell with your crowbar. Now let's do this. Let's actually get into this video. We got the Gulikit Joystick Module. It is working on both Type A and Type B Steam Decks now, which is all of them. And it's all of the ones that we know of that be coming out, unless they are coming out with a Type C, which I have no reason why they would. That'd be probably a Steam Deck 2 kind of thing. But yes, you can expect this to work on all of them now, where with the past, the Gulikit would only work with Type A. It also consumes less power, at 50% less power than the previous versions of the Gulikit. It also comes with a cap that is pre-soldered on, and so it's easy to install. This is actually one of the most exciting parts of this new announced joystick module is the pre-soldered joystick caps. I will have to say from installing several of these through onlysteamdeck.com that it is not the most fun thing to replace. And honestly, before I wouldn't have recommended anyone unless they really knew what they were doing with soldering to replace it. Now you don't need to do that. All you need to be able to do is unscrew the back plate, unscrew the joysticks, which are it's fairly simple. It's a module. Unclip the ribbon, and then just remove them, put the other new ones in, reattach everything, like just essentially reverse it, right? And then it's done with some calibrating, of course. Now, let's get to the part where who should get it. You want more precision in a game? You are playing esports, you're doing stuff that requires just the best precision possible, whether it be in a very intense game playing hardcore Diablo 4, who knows, that could it could help there. Or you might want to replace your joysticks that are already showing signs of wear or drift. So if you sit down with, let's say, a first-person shooter and it starts to drift, the cursor just drifts off, or you start moving around without touching the deck, that's a good sign that there's drift going on. And you could either try to recalibrating the joysticks, but if that does not work, then you need to replace them. And at the cost of about $20 to $30, depending on when you buy these, I might as well just get these over getting a replacement from Valve. So the last person who should get these, the people that love to upgrade, that love to tinker, that want something new and better for their deck. Yeah, if you want to get the most extreme decked out deck, you're going to want to go with these then. And, the community does love upgrading their decks. I know, I'm a part of it. And I will say this is probably the biggest reason I do it because, and we're going to now segue into who shouldn't get it, and that is casual gamers. Casual gamers, it just won't make much difference to them. And for me, I have both a Steam Deck that is modified and one that's not with these joysticks, or a similar kind. I don't have the Type A, Type B yet. They make a difference. But because I play games that are RPGs or things that are a little less tense, typically on my Steam Deck, more intense games go on the keyboard mouse on my main PC. I don't need these as much. It's just more of a bragging right / I love to tinker. Or you shouldn't get these if you don't want to void your warranty or maybe open up and cause any issues. It's easy to install, but I'm not going to, there are still some concerns and some issues with opening your deck and doing this. If you don't fully know what you're doing and you're just like jabbing things, which I don't think anyone would, but in today's world, you never know, you could essentially break your deck. The chances are pretty low as long as you're being cautious, but still, and there's that. Plus, Valve has a pretty generous warranty on fixing the deck. This could potentially void it. Not saying it's going to, but it could. Now, this next thing will also void it. Honestly, anything on this list is going to void your warranty on your Steam Deck. The next thing is the screen replacement. DeckHD has a screen replacement they're coming out with soon. It is a 1920 by 1200p resolution. This is one thing that confuses people. Why is it not a 1080? It's the screen ratio of 16 by 10 instead of 16 by 9. So 16 by 9 is the more commonly found screen ratio that you can find out there on your monitors, other gaming devices like the ROG Ally. This has a 16 by 10. And so with that has a little bit more pixels, which does matter for battery life. It also does matter for performance, but at the end of the day, it still will look really good because it has 95% of the sRGB true color spectrum. The ROG Ally, I believe, has 100%, while the Steam Deck has around 65%. So this is definitely going to be an upgrade. And after looking at images of the DeckHD in practice, compared to the Steam Deck, it definitely does look like you're going to get a better resolution color gamut. So now it's not an OLED display, it's a 7-inch IPS display. And while it's not OLED's a little harder to manufacture at this size until it becomes more common for a 7-inch 16 by 10 ratio screen. Once that becomes a little bit more common, then we'll probably see an OLED. Right now, there's a good chance we might not, as IPS is a much more common standard. And so there's no surprise that this is an IPS over an OLED. It would be nice to see an OLED, though. So fingers crossed that we'll see that soon. As long as it's not old tech OLED where the IPS could potentially beat it out in today's world. It does have anti-glare coating, which is standard on the 512 gigabyte version of the Steam Deck, but not the other ones. So if you don't have that, this might be a reason why you get this, is for that anti-glare screen. Other reasons why you should get this is just upgrading your screen to improve the visuals of your games you play. If they're not AAA, if they're indie titles, or if the game does really well with FSR and you can play at a lower resolution and it upscales up to that 1200p, you're going to be getting some pretty good visuals with that. And I will have to say, Doom Eternal is a great example of upscaling, where on my 4K TV, it looks beautiful with FSR when my deck is docked. It's just proven that the deck could have a 4K screen and it would look beautiful. Yes, that's very excessive for the size, but a 1200p I think is reasonable. Who shouldn't get this? If you only play AAA titles that are demanding, that are newer, and already suffer even with FSR enabled, you might not want to get this screen, as it will not improve that. That being said, you can still run those games at lower resolutions and all. It just, you might even further reduce your battery life, and if you don't like that, then this is going to be a lose-lose for you. Because honestly, this is one of the biggest gripes against this. I understand, but until we get more real-world examples of this running, I'm going to be skeptical, but it will reduce your battery life. If you're someone that really does not like that, and there's a lot of people that really already have issues with the Steam Deck's battery life, then don't get this. There's just no way that having more pixels being pushed, even if you run at a lower resolution, is not going to consume more battery life. We'll see, though. We'll see how optimized this screen is. We'll see. Real world numbers need to come out, but that's probably another reason why you don't want to. Now, there's one little thing that I'm surprised they didn't add to this: FreeSync support. It would have been nice to see this in the deck. Now, Linux supports it. I believe the Steam Deck supports it. I've seen people say they've got their TVs that have FreeSync working with Steam Deck. Why didn't they add that? Because that would have really helped with both all-around better and smoother frame rates on the Steam Deck, and it would have been a game changer. Because I'll be honest, there's a lot of games that have a little bit of jank to it, and I think FreeSync would help with that. Now, that is the DeckHD Screen. So we've covered the joysticks, we've covered the screen. Now it's time to cover the shelling, and that is the full shell replacement from eXtremeRate. And with it, there's nothing really fancy about these shells except for the color and the button replacements. So when you get one of these shells, it will come in red, clear black, clear white. You got atomic purple, which is a clear purple. You got metallic purple, which is the one I'm getting, atomic purple and metallic purple. And then you have white and wood. So you got a lot coming out. I'm sure they could mold more, and who knows? There could be a lot more. So if you're really not seeing a color you like, maybe you want to wait, or maybe email them, and maybe they'll make that special color for you and just for you. Now, who should get this? This one's an easy one. Anyone that wants their deck to look better, who shouldn't? Anyone that doesn't want to spend $30 to $40 on replacing just the way their deck looks. For A lot of us, though, it's just fun to be able to personalize the deck and be able to say, hey, look, my deck is unique. So, a little bit of concerns. I'm curious about the plastic quality on this and the quality of all the parts that are included with it. And will the colors fade over time? I mean, I've seen some pretty cheap things in the past that gets me just a little concerned for future things, and this is one of them. Now, the exciting announcement I said I had at the beginning of this video, that is, we are partnering with eXtremeRate for a giveaway. Yes, one lucky person in the community is going to be able to get a free shell replacement for their Steam Deck. Now, what you need to do to be qualified is to be subscribed to our newsletter or needs to be following us on Twitter. Now, if you do both, you'll get a double chance of winning. Now, honestly, it's not a lose situation, though. If you're subscribed to our newsletter at gamesrevealed.com, you will be getting cool new tips, tricks, news on the Steam Deck and all sorts of things gaming. You also get entered into the weekly giveaway for games on the newsletter. That comes in the newsletter at the very bottom. If people haven't been paying attention, it's at the bottom. It's free games out there. And then also on the Twitter side, we're going to be doing more giveaways soon. And there's going to be a lot more coming from that side too, as I'm becoming less of a lurker and more of a participant in the community, as I should. As sometimes, I'm sure you guys understand, it's fun to sit there and just look through and see what's going on in all the drama of whatever world it is. Steam Deck world has drama, game world has drama, but now I'm going to dive in, I guess, and try not to be too much in the drama, but just enjoy the community, I guess, a little bit more there as much as you can. Sometimes on Twitter, we all know the stereotypes and stuff on there. Now, with that, I am curious which one of these upgrades you're most likely to do. Let's say if it was free today, which one of these would you choose? Would it be the joysticks? Would it be the screen? Would it be the shell? I am curious. And if that's the case, what are you most excited for and which one are you least excited for on those upgrades? Also, you can check out the description below. All the goodies in there, including links to a lot of stuff I've talked about, including these 3 upgrades. Now, the screen and the shell aren't out yet. They'll be coming out soon, but you can always keep and watch out with the links I have in the description below. I have sponsors. I have other stuff that you can go and help the channel out by consuming, and honestly, everything I put there, I endorse myself. I used pretty much everything on that list, and I love it. So thank you guys for watching. Check out my other videos, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out. Later!